Cash. Sis. Family, buckle up because this one is loud. And I'm not talking one tweet loud. I'm talking phone almost cracked, timeline on fire, delete your apps loud. The paperwork has moved. The names have shifted. And a young man in a Maryland front yard is dead before he ever got the piece of paper he was chasing. So if you thought the Blueface and Chrisean Rock saga had already given you every possible plot twist, I need you to sit down, because what you are about to hear is not gossip. It is a full-blown paternity war with a body count attached, and Chrisean Rock is standing dead center of it with a baby in her arms and the wrong last name on the birth certificate. Trust me when I tell you, this one is going to detonate. Because here is where it gets ugly. Blueface came out of prison and did not fold. He did not fold on the bars, he did not fold on the streams, and he absolutely did not fold on the paternity question. He looked straight into the camera and told the whole internet that Chrisean Rock's son, Chrisean Jr., is not his child, and this time he brought paperwork with him. He said the numbers. He said the timeline. He said his family last name deserves protection. And when Blueface said it, he was not screaming, he was not clout chasing, he was cold. That is the tone that scares people, family. When Blueface goes quiet and precise, that means Blueface is not playing anymore. And Chrisean Rock, you can hear it in her voice. She is not ready for a Blueface that stopped playing. Not a version of Blueface that has already run the math. Not a version of Blueface that has already read the calendar. Not a version of Blueface that has already accepted the possibility that everything he was told about Chrisean Jr. was a marketing plan and not a bloodline. Now let me back this thing up so nobody gets lost. For years, the internet watched Chrisean Rock and Blueface run one of the most chaotic reality relationships hip-hop has ever produced. Chrisean Rock tattooed Blueface on her face. Chrisean Rock fought for Blueface on live. Chrisean Rock stood next to Blueface through court dates, prison sentences, cheating scandals, and pregnancy drama. And through all of it, she kept saying the same sentence. Blueface is Chrisean Jr.'s father. That was the story, and for a long time Blueface let the story live. Then Blueface got in front of a camera and admitted something that shook everybody. He said, and I quote the energy of it, that back when he was still with Chrisean Rock, it was a good storyline. It was making money. The biological father did not fit the storyline. So Blueface went along with it. Read that again slowly, family. Blueface, on camera, said he played along with a paternity narrative because it was profitable. That is not a slip. That is a receipt Blueface is handing you personally, and Chrisean Rock has to answer it. Every reality show clip you laughed at, every crazy in love episode you binged, every screaming match you screenshotted, Blueface just told you the timing never lined up. Blueface just told you he saw it, watched it, chose not to fight it, because the money was too good. And now the money has run out. So look, this is where the story stops being a rap couple soap opera and turns into something darker. Because if Blueface is not the biological father of Chrisean Jr., then who is? And that question, family, is the reason we are talking about a young man named Karen, Ronnie Doe, tonight. Chrisean Rock's ex, 24 years old, shot in the front yard of a house in Severn, Maryland. On February 3rd around 7:10 p.m. police arrived, found him on the ground, rushed him to the hospital, and he did not make it. They labeled it a targeted homicide. Not random. Not a robbery gone wrong. Targeted. And here is the part that has the internet unable to breathe. Before Ronnie Doe was killed, Ronnie Doe had been publicly claiming that Chrisean Jr. was his biological son. Ronnie Doe wanted a DNA test. Ronnie Doe wanted access. Ronnie Doe wanted his name in the child's story. And now Ronnie Doe wants nothing, because Ronnie Doe is gone. Gone before the results. Gone before the paperwork. Gone before the truth could catch up to him. You already peeped that this is not a coincidence timeline. You already peeped that the man who was loudest about wanting the DNA test is the man who is no longer alive to receive the results. Folks close to the situation are whispering that Chrisean Rock did not just lose an ex. She lost the one witness who could have flipped this entire paternity story on its head with one cheek swab. And she knows it. Everybody watching knows it. That is why every time Chrisean Rock opens her mouth on a live stream and starts quoting scripture and throwing up peace signs, the comments do not soften, the comments get louder. Because family, prayer without paperwork is not a defense. Prayer without a DNA test is not a defense. And when a woman keeps praying out loud on camera the same week her ex catches a bullet in the yard, The audience is going to ask questions. The audience is asking them right now. The audience is asking them under every clip, under every post, under every rebuke of distraction moment Chrisean Rock tries to run on live. So let me tell you what triggered this current round of chaos. Chrisean Rock walked into a live stream hosted by Aiden and Dean recently. Chrisean Rock did not walk in quiet. Chrisean Rock walked in loud, walked in flirty, walked in trying to remind Blueface that she is still in the arena. Blueface was on the stream. Blueface's face said everything before Blueface's mouth said anything. Blueface looked at Chrisean Rock like Blueface was watching a stranger. Blueface told Chrisean Rock the beef is not over until Chrisean Rock claims her son properly. Blueface told Chrisean Rock she needs to stop the weird stuff on stream. Blueface told Chrisean Rock, in front of thousands of live viewers, that the child she keeps waving in his face is not his son. And then, live on camera, they pulled up the paperwork. The document said, and this is the exact language, that the alleged father is not excluded as the biological father of the fetus. Chrisean Rock read that sentence and said, that means you are the father. Chrisean Rock kept saying, that means you are the father. And Blueface stared back and said, sis, that does not mean what you think it means. Not excluded is not confirmed. Not excluded is a placeholder. Not excluded is a courtroom hedge. And you called Blueface the dumb one. That moment, family, that is the moment the internet turned. That is the moment where a full generation of women who spent years defending Chrisean Rock started quietly closing tabs. Because Chrisean Rock did not lose that exchange because Blueface was cruel. Chrisean Rock lost that exchange because Chrisean Rock was holding a paper Chrisean Rock did not understand and demanding the world take her word over the words on it. And Blueface, mercilessly calm, said the thing every man in that chat has wanted to say for 2 years. Blueface said, I want a DNA test. Blueface said, if Chrisean Jr. is my son, prove it. Blueface said, any real man would want to know. Blueface said, my last name is Kane, and my family name deserves the truth. And then Blueface said the part that stopped my heart. Blueface said, around that time, Cash was going back and forth from LA to Baltimore. LA to Baltimore. Every single one of you already knows that. She said it out of her own mouth. Chrisean Rock volunteered that geography herself on prior streams, on prior interviews, on prior confessional posts. Blueface did not fabricate it. Blueface just remembered it. Do you understand what Blueface just did there? Blueface just handed the internet a geographic alibi and dared Chrisean Rock to argue with a map. Baltimore is not Los Angeles. Baltimore is where Ronnie Doe lived. Baltimore is where Ronnie Doe died. Baltimore is where Chrisean Rock kept flying back to during the exact window Chrisean Jr. was allegedly conceived. Blueface did not have to say the name. Blueface let the geography say the name for him. That is not a diss, family. That is a closing argument. That is the kind of quiet devastation a lawyer runs in front of a jury. And Chrisean Rock, live on camera, could not counter it. Chrisean Rock could only laugh, could only pivot, could only try to lean in for a kiss and pretend the room was not staring at her. And this is where the story picks up its second heartbeat, because Ronnie Doe did not go quietly before he was killed. Ronnie Doe was talking. Ronnie Doe was telling anyone with a phone that he believed Chrisean Jr. was his son. Ronnie Doe was demanding paperwork. Ronnie Doe and Chrisean Rock had a whole beef because Ronnie Doe did not have the same clout ceiling as Blueface. And if Chrisean Jr. was Ronnie Doe's baby instead of Blueface's baby, Chrisean Rock's whole platform math changes. Do you hear me? Chrisean Rock's brand, Chrisean Rock's followers, Chrisean Rock's earning power, Chrisean Rock's tabloid relevance. Every single dollar Chrisean Rock is currently making is downstream of the world believing Chrisean Jr. is a Blueface baby. The second that story flips, Chrisean Rock is not a rap wife anymore. Chrisean Rock is a single mother from Baltimore with a difficult past and a dead ex. That is a different tax bracket. That is a different algorithm. That is a different life. And Chrisean Rock knows it. Chrisean Rock has always known it. Chrisean Rock built the whole storyline on the assumption that nobody would ever look under it. Ronnie Doe looked. Blueface looked. And now the timeline is looking. Now let me be careful here, because I am not a detective and I am not law enforcement. I am the messenger, and I am reading the same public timeline you can read. But when a well-known podcaster asked one of Chrisean Rock's associates directly whether Chrisean Rock might have had something to do with what happened to Ronnie Doe, The answer was not a clean no. The answer was, I don't know about that. The answer was, Chrisean Rock has been known to give out addresses. The answer was, Chrisean Rock has been known to be impulsive. The answer was, Chrisean Rock and Ronnie Doe were in contact the night Ronnie Doe died. Family, if that sentence does not chill you, read it again. In contact, the night he died. And now Chrisean Rock is back on live streams flirting with Blueface, throwing up peace signs, praying into her phone case, and pretending none of it happened. I am not accusing Chrisean Rock of anything a court has not already declined to charge her with. I am telling you what the people in Chrisean Rock's orbit are saying on record, on tape, on stream, into cameras their friends are holding. So look, here is the receipt everybody keeps skipping. Blueface, before the DNA news broke wide open, dropped a song with OG Bobby Billions where Blueface referred to Chrisean Jr. as a fatherless child. That line is not a diss for streams. That line is Blueface publicly documenting his exit from the paternity myth. Blueface said, in a released record, that Chrisean Jr. is fatherless, meaning the man Chrisean Jr. was told was his father, meaning Ronnie Doe, was allegedly deceased, meaning Blueface knew. Blueface knew when Blueface got out of prison. Blueface knew before the internet knew. Blueface came home ready to raise a child that was not his because Chrisean Rock had built her whole storyline on that lie. And Blueface only pulled away when Blueface realized his freedom, his last name, his money, and his other children were all on the line. That is not a heartless man. That is a man who finally read the room. That is a man who counted the cost of continuing a lie and decided the cost was his last name on a birth certificate that would follow him for the rest of his life. Blueface chose himself. Blueface chose his other kids. And the internet is only now catching up to what Blueface figured out behind bars. And here is the wildest part, family. Chrisean Rock, right now, could end this in a single afternoon. Chrisean Rock could walk into any clinic in America. Chrisean Rock could bring Chrisean Jr. Chrisean Rock could swab a cheek. Chrisean Rock could hand the results to Blueface's mother. Chrisean Rock could hand them to Carlisa. Chrisean Rock could hand them to Aiden. Chrisean Rock could hand them to Dean. Chrisean Rock could hand them to the whole platform. Blueface's team already publicly offered to pay for it. Blueface said on camera, "We will cover the test today." Chrisean Rock will not do it. Read that sentence one more time. Chrisean Rock will not do it. The one action that would clear Chrisean Rock's name, protect Chrisean Jr.'s identity, silence Blueface forever, and put the Ronnie Doe questions to bed, Chrisean Rock refuses to take. What kind of mother refuses the test that would protect her son's future? What kind of mother lets a child grow up not knowing which man's DNA is written in his blood while the whole internet argues over him? This is the question that is currently eating Chrisean Rock's brand alive. This is the question the algorithm cannot stop feeding, because every version of the answer is louder than the last. And every day Chrisean Rock refuses to swab that cheek is another day the audience writes the answer for her. Meanwhile, Chrisean Rock is doing the exact routine we have watched her do for 4 straight years. Chrisean Rock goes wild on a stream. Chrisean Rock creates chaos in a room. Chrisean Rock clips herself for other men. Chrisean Rock disrespects a whole NDA on a whole broadcast. Chrisean Rock leaves, gets in a car, and clips herself again outside. Then Chrisean Rock disappears for 2 days. Then Chrisean Rock comes back on live crying about her healing journey. Then Chrisean Rock pulls out a phone case with a scripture on the back. Then Chrisean Rock says God is making it happen for her. Then Chrisean Rock throws up a peace sign and says she does not want any drama. And the internet, exhausted, screenshots every second of it. This is not healing, family. This is a loop. This is the same loop every attention leech runs when the money gets low and the bookings get quiet. Chrisean Rock has been running this loop since before Chrisean Jr. was born, and Chrisean Jr. is the one paying for it in silence. Because every time Chrisean Rock resets the loop, a piece of Chrisean Jr.'s future stability disappears. Every time Chrisean Rock trades the truth for a viral moment, Chrisean Jr. inherits a heavier crown. That crown will be waiting for him when he learns to Google. Because let me remind everybody who the real victim is here. Chrisean Jr. did not ask to be born on livestream. Chrisean Jr. did not ask to be a talking point in a paternity war. Chrisean Jr. did not ask for his mother to fly LA to Baltimore during the window he was conceived. Chrisean Jr. did not ask for Blueface to publicly disown him on a record. Chrisean Jr. did not ask for Ronnie Doe to die before Ronnie Doe could hold him. Chrisean Jr. is a baby, family. A baby. And that baby is currently the most talked about child on hip-hop internet. And not one of the adults in his life is doing the one thing that would give him peace. A DNA test. Not one of them. Not the mother who claims Chrisean Jr. is a Blueface baby. Not the alleged father, may he rest, who is no longer here to fight. Not the extended family. Not the industry friends. Nobody. Because the truth is inconvenient for everybody's brand, and Chrisean Jr., a child who cannot yet form a full sentence, is footing the emotional bill for it. And one day Chrisean Jr. is going to be old enough to type his own name into a search bar, and every clip, every scream, every not excluded freeze frame is going to load in front of him with no filter and no lawyer. And this, family, is where the whole story reveals itself. Because it is not really about Blueface. It is not really about Ronnie Doe. It is not really about a live stream fight or a piece of paper about a fetus. It is about a young woman who learned very early that the algorithm will pay you more for chaos than for peace, and she has been running that trade ever since. Chrisean Rock does not know how to log off. Chrisean Rock does not know how to be quiet with a baby. Chrisean Rock does not know how to disappear for a year and be a mother. Chrisean Rock only knows how to broadcast, because broadcasting is the only skill Chrisean Rock has ever been rewarded for. And now the broadcast is eating her. The broadcast will not let her hide the paternity question. The broadcast will not let her forget Ronnie Doe. The broadcast will not let her recover the sympathy she used to command. Every live stream is another nail. Every prayer is another clip. Every peace sign is another meme. Chrisean Rock built her entire identity inside a broadcast, and now the broadcast is the trial. The jury is the timeline. And the timeline is not on Chrisean Rock's side anymore. And Blueface, family, Blueface is not walking back. Blueface has said, on record, that any real man would want the test. Blueface has said his family last name deserves to be verified. Blueface has said Chrisean Jr. deserves the truth. Blueface has offered to pay. Blueface has offered to show up. Blueface has closed every polite door except the door of scientific proof. So the ball is not in Blueface's court. The ball is not in the internet's court. The ball is in Chrisean Rock's hand, and everyone in this comment section knows exactly why she will not throw it. Because the moment Chrisean Rock hands that swab over is the moment Chrisean Rock stops being the main character of hip-hop's messiest chapter. And the main character role, for a person like Chrisean Rock, is worth more than the truth. Which is exactly why the truth has been buried under scripture and stream drama for so long. Now let me pull back one more time so nobody misses the layered receipts here. Rewind the tape. Chrisean Rock spent years telling the world Chrisean Jr. was a Blueface baby. Chrisean Rock rejected Ronnie Doe's public claim to fatherhood on multiple platforms. Chrisean Rock allegedly could not stand Ronnie Doe because Ronnie Doe did not carry the same star power as Blueface. Chrisean Rock and Ronnie Doe reportedly stayed in contact the night Ronnie Doe was killed. Ronnie Doe was gunned down in a targeted homicide before he could ever confirm, through DNA, whether Chrisean Jr. was really his. And now, with Ronnie Doe silenced permanently, Chrisean Rock has suddenly re-emerged chasing Blueface again, begging Blueface to reclaim a child Blueface has already publicly said is not his. If you laid those facts out in front of a jury, family, without any names attached, and asked 12 strangers to say what pattern they see, none of them are voting in Chrisean Rock's favor. None of them. Not one juror in America looks at that stack and says, "Oh yeah, this is a woman being unfairly persecuted." That stack tells its own story, and Chrisean Rock is the only person in the room still pretending it does not. And then you factor in the small stuff, the little tells, the details Chrisean Rock leaks on stream without realizing she is leaking them. The prayer in the middle of a party. The scripture pulled out at the exact moment somebody says Ronnie Doe's name. The 360 spin when the paperwork gets pulled up. The kiss attempt when the not excluded line gets read. The pivot to a sob story about her healing every time the DNA question comes back into the timeline. Family. That is not a pattern of an innocent grieving mother. That is a pattern of a woman managing an image while a fire she cannot see is burning behind her. And every seasoned watcher of hip-hop internet has seen this playbook before. We have watched women bury their exes in silence and go quiet for years. We have watched women demand privacy for the sake of their children. We have watched women lock down their pages and disappear until the truth catches up. Chrisean Rock is not doing any of that. Chrisean Rock is streaming through it. Chrisean Rock is monetizing through it. Chrisean Rock is trending through it. And that alone tells you the game she is really playing. So here is where I have to hand it back to you. Because I already know what I think, and I already know what my chat thinks, but I need to hear it from the family watching this right now. Do you believe Chrisean Rock is protecting Chrisean Jr.? Or do you believe Chrisean Rock is protecting Chrisean Rock's brand? Do you believe Ronnie Doe died in a random Maryland shooting on February 3rd? Or do you believe that homicide was too convenient to be a coincidence? Do you believe Blueface should just sign off on Chrisean Jr. one final time and walk away for peace? Or do you believe Blueface owes it to his family name to keep pushing for that swab until the paperwork is airtight? Do you believe Chrisean Rock is genuinely healing? Or do you believe every prayer she posts is a rehearsed prop for the next stream cycle? Slide down to the comments and tell me straight up what you think, because I read every single one, and I already see the fight starting in there. And do not close this tab before you tap that other video, because the second part of this story is even messier than the part we just walked through. And I have a whole breakdown pulled up on why Ronnie Doe was really in Severn that night, who called who first, why one specific detail in the police report has half the internet convinced the story we are being told is not the story that happened, and what a certain associate of Chrisean Rock allegedly deleted off social media within 24 hours of the shooting. Family, if you thought this was loud, the next one is a whole earthquake. So tap in, stay locked, and remember, we do not feed the chaos over here, we read the chaos. And this chaos, sis, is still just getting started.